everybody, welcome to the Sports Suite. I'm joined by former Major League pitcher and current pitching coach for the High Point Rockers, Frank Viola. Frank, thank you very much for joining me today.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it. So the first question for you, so you played, a total of 15 years in the Major League Baseball with the Minnesota Twins, New York Mets, Boston Red Sox, Cincinnati Reds, and Toronto Blue Jays. Over the course of the 15 years, did you ever realize how successful your career would end up being?
I mean, I knew I was doing well from a certain point on, but you don't think about that kind of stuff while you're playing. I mean, the big thing is you want to go. For every team I played for, my big thing was trying to get them to the playoffs. And the frustrating part was, of the 15 years I played, I only made the playoffs one time. And that was, thank God, we won the World Series in '87, during that run. But the frustrating part is that it doesn't matter what an individual successful season makes if the rest of the team doesn't do well. So to look back on my career, I realized I had a really good career, but it could have been better if I would have made a few more playoffs, or the teams would have made a few more playoffs.
All right. And you were a three-time All-Star in 1988 with the Twins, in 1990 and 1991 with the New York Mets. What was it like to be with the best of the best during the Midsummer Classic, those 3 years?
Best time ever. Back then it didn't matter, how baseball used that as a stepping stone for home games in the playoffs and stuff. I'm glad they did away with that, because what it was for us was it was an opportunity just for us to have fun and show our abilities. Winning and losing didn't mean that much. It was just going out there and showing showing what we're all made of. I hung out with more National Leaguers when I was in the American League and more American Leaguers when I was in the National League during that time there, because I didn't get to know those guys very well, during the season. So, it was a great opportunity. The 3 years, as you just said, it's the best of the best. And it's nice to be put up there with them and have fun and go and compete against them.
And I'm sure, during those 3 years during the Midsummer Classic, I'm sure you continued to make friends as you were playing.
Yeah, one of my closest friends to this day is Kyle Ripken. And I wouldn't have gotten to know him unless I hung out and, had dinner with him and, just hung out and had a couple of beers after practice and stuff like that. But I mean, that's how you get to know people. You can say what you want about certain people. Barry Bonds, as an individual, is not a bad guy. In a group, it was all about Barry Bonds. You learn all that stuff as you go along and meet these people. But, the opportunities just to be able to talk baseball with the best of the best, that is the most fun, because that's why we do this. We love the game. That's why I'm coaching today. I still love the game, and I feel like I can give something back to today's kids.
And at the age of 27, in 1987, you were part of the Minnesota Twins World Series victory. You're not only a World Series champion, but you were also awarded the World Series MVP.
Quite an honor. Yeah, that was quite an honor. That surprised me, because we were the first World Series between the Twins and the Cardinals that the home team won all 7 games. First time it ever happened in the history of baseball. And I had 2 very strong games. Games 1 and Game 7, I did very well. Game 4, I got hit a little bit. But I guess it was good enough to warrant the World Series MVP, and it's an honor that I'll cherish forever, because, as I mentioned earlier in this conversation, the reason why you play baseball is for a team concept, and to be the MVP of a team win like that is pretty cool.
All right, I mean, it certainly doesn't happen too often, winning the World Series, and also even be named the World Series MVP. So
well, think about this too. How many times as a kid did you think about hitting a home run in Game 7 of a World Series, or picking up the ball and being a pitcher in Game 7? I got to live it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, sure it is. In 1988, you finished your successful season, 24-7, and then you were named the American League Cy Young Award winner. I mean, professional baseball players dream of just making it to the big leagues. And did you ever imagine that you can ever literally do it all by becoming an All-Star, World Series champion, World Series MVP, and also the American League Cy Young Award winner?
It's funny, because it's easy now to talk about it because I'm so old, and it looks great on the resume. But at the time, as I said, you at the moment, and all that stuff, those are great accomplishments, but I still felt like I always had that much more I wanted to showcase or give, or it was after my playing career that all those came into perspective and said, I could take a step back and go, I had a pretty good career. Thank God that he gave me the help to be able to go and do that. And I had great teammates. I had great doctors. You could go all the way down the line. It was, and my biggest support system was my family. I got married to a wonderful lady I'm still married to today. After 36 years we've been together. We've had 3 great kids, and that puts a lot of stuff in perspective too. I could come home and give up 10 runs, and my kids wouldn't give a crap about it. They were just glad Daddy was home. So that put baseball in perspective. That's supposed to be a kid's game. Play it like a kid's game. Have fun. And if you do that, you're going to be successful.
All right, so it certainly sounds like for you, family comes first, baseball comes next, and while you're being successful on the road, your family was super happy to see you come home.
Absolutely.
That was the best part.
Yep.
And then, so I'm going to ask you some 5 rapid-fire questions.
Go for it.
All right, what was your favorite MLB ballpark to visit?
Fenway Park.
Fenway Park. Why is that?
Just the history behind it. I was going to say Wrigley, I was going to say Detroit Tiger Stadium. All the older stadiums intrigue me. Just the fact that you think about 100 years of playing baseball and the accomplishments people had on those fields. But the one that really, to me, it's just Fenway Park when you ask that question.
What is your most memorable moment playing in the big leagues?
Running into the pile after the last out in Game 7 of the World Series, no question. It was just telling my legs not to collapse before getting to the pile. So that was, no question, the highlight of my career.
And if your legs did collapse, would it have been worth it?
Probably. I would have crawled to the pile, but I would have gotten to that damn pile.
Favorite sports to play besides baseball?
Basketball.
Basketball.
Loved basketball growing up. I was a seasonal thing. It was basketball during the winter, it was baseball during the summer. I didn't really make up my mind until my junior year in high school that baseball was going to be what I wanted to do. So if it wasn't for basketball, and that's a great tip for kids today, don't think you have to play a certain sport for 12 months because, trust me, you're going to burn out. Let your kids do what they want to do. Let them play as many sports as they want because they'll have more fun when they do decide what they want to do, and they've had all these other experiences that they could have lived already.
All right, and also, who is your funniest teammate?
Bert Blyleven, Hall of Famer, just a goofy son of a gun. He just kept everybody loose. But when he crossed the white line, he was the most competitive guy I've ever met. I learned a lot from him watching him pitch when he was with the Twins, but I also learned how to relax off the field when he wasn't pitching. And just some of the stuff he did, you'd be sitting in the dugout and all of a sudden your shoe's on fire. He'd called under with the seeds and all the crap and lit your shoe on fire. Just subtle little stuff to keep the locker room and the clubhouse loose, and I love playing with him.
And then what's the best movie you've ever watched? Your favorite movie?
I went peaks and valleys. My very first one that I really enjoyed, this my pregame. I used to watch a movie pregame before I pitched every night. Some of those movies were Field of Dreams, Bull Durham, Hoosiers. At one time or another, I don't know where the heck this movie came into play, but Top Gun with
Top Gun.
I enjoyed the storyline behind Top Gun, so it was what I was in the mood for. But mostly good, fun sports movies that you can just laugh about, relax, and get ready and focus for the day that you're going to have next day.
All right, well, I certainly know that you're definitely chasing your dream to get back to the big leagues in a coaching role.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I did 8 years with the Mets. I had a few big league interviews for pitching coach jobs. I think I could make a difference. Well, I know I can make a difference for a major league team, but right now I really enjoy the freedom independent ball gives you. We're picking and choosing players to pick up here. You don't get to do that in affiliated ball. That's all done for you. So we're formulating teams as we go along. And being an expansion team like High Point, it's been really fun seeing what this team looks like on paper and going out and performing. And we're doing okay so far. So it's been a good experience.
Yeah, well, Frank Viola, I wish you the best of luck on all of your achievements and your accomplishments and everything going forward for you. This has been the Sports Suite. This is Frank Viola. I'm Jason Hochberg. Frank, thank you very much for going to our show today.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.